But before we get into some Smash Bros. Shenanigans, uh, my friend just sent me one of my own videos and said he found it. So, yeah, there you go. I'm not gonna show you too much because it's a group chat. Don't want the guys' names to get doxed. But if they want to appear, I have a window right here. They can come look out. So, yeah, without further ado, let's see what characters have jobs. This is the dumbest idea I've ever had. I mean, you can't get much better than Mario himself. It's Mario. And by the way, we're going off anything these guys do. So like movies, TV shows. To be fair, I did research and like I've never seen like the Pokemon show, and apparently it's a Castlevania show on Netflix. We'll get to that later. But I've never really seen them. But we're going off everything here. So yes, Mario is a plumber. Mario has a job in the Mario movie, and if you don't want to count the movie, I don't know if he's been a plumber in any like a real game, but like he's done a bunch of sports, which probably pay out enough. And also in one of his first games, Wrecking Crew, he's part of the Wrecking Crew. That's a job. So Mario definitely has a job. Next up is Donkey Kong, and from the research I did here, it told me that Cranky Kong, which is actually the Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong 1981, actually owns a business in Donkey Kong Country 2. And I've played that game, never beat it, so never really got really far. But I didn't know that, so that's pretty interesting. But if we're not counting that Donkey Kong, because technically I'm assuming the Donkey Kong in Ultimate is a different Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong works for a mining company in the new Donkey Kong Bonanza game, so there you go. Donkey Kong has a job. Link is kind of interesting because you can argue that saving the whole world is a job. I've never beaten a Zelda game besides Zelda 2, and that was a very long time ago. But I don't think he got paid for that one. I didn't really pay attention. It was just kind of like a mindless playthrough while I was watching YouTube. But what I see here is that Link had a job in Breath of the Wild. He was a royal knight. But while he never received cash compensation, he did receive lodging and other provisions for his service. And so basically, the criteria for having a job in this universe, like, if you're doing it for free, you don't really have a paying job. So, yeah, he was also an apprentice engineer in Spirit Tracks. He was a ranching goat herder, but, like, those two didn't really pay. So, yeah, Link has a job. He receives something for his efforts. So that counts. Nothing makes my job easier if when I research and literally Google just tells me, yes, Samus has a job. She's a bounty hunter. That's payment. In the manga prequel to Metroid, Samus is shown directly demanding payment for her services. If this isn't having a job, this is like up there with like Mario as having a job. That I just love when Google makes my job easier. So Samus does have a job. We're 4 for 4 right now. Now Dark Samus is where we start to lose it a little bit because I've never played a Metroid game. Well, I have played a little bit of like the old ones, but like I don't know too much about Metroid. I want to get into Prime. I probably should buy the remastered version, but as far as I know, Dark Samus is literally not a person. I think it's just like a creation. Like, what is Dark Samus? Let's research that. Dark Samus, well, yeah, it's a phazon mutated organism. So technically, this whatever this thing is has a job, but it doesn't get paid for it. That's what my research told me. Let me know in the comments. By the way, if I get anything wrong, let me know in the comments what I did wrong, and I'll directly address this in a future video. So, but yeah, let's keep going. Yoshi, you would think Mario would have paid him by now. Out of everything that Yoshi's done since 1991, he's actually not been paid once for his efforts. I mean, you can give him fruit, but I mean that's just kind of a gimmick of the game. You're not actually paying Yoshi like he's a taxi driver when you finish a level. So, no, Yoshi does not have a paying job. Well, like, from what I could see, I don't really think he has anything. But what I found interesting, I think, I was babysitting? Okay, well, I guess I was looking at the list. It says babysitter. The plot of Yoshi's Island revolves around a group of Yoshis who work together to carry baby Mario. But that doesn't get paid, so that doesn't count. As it said, Black Yoshi from SML. I thought it was pretty interesting how they just Google said that. So yeah. So originally, when I wrote this, I was in school. I need to always preface this when I say this. I finished my test, okay? I did not put off my work that needed to be done so I could write YouTube videos. If you're going to be like me, do your work first. I wrote down originally that Kirby did have a job, but after I even went back in my history, found the exact thing I looked up, and I cannot find what the heck I wrote down because I didn't write what his job was. I thought I could go back. In hindsight, if I ever do this kind of thing again, I need to write more things down. But I cannot find what I wrote down. I think I might have read this wrong because it says he can collect star coins from defeated enemies and other sources, and he can spend it in Waddling Town. I must have read it as he works in Waddling Town, and that's what he got paid star coins for. So I was wrong. I don't think Kirby has a job, but you know, in some obscure Kirby game, he might. So Fox kind of took some time to research, to be honest. They are paid though. They get paid for their mercenary work. The only Star Fox game I've ever played is Guard. I honestly want to play some of the other ones, but I've only played Guard, and that's not really a Star Fox game. But they are paid. They are commandos for hire, so they get hired for missions. They get paid for that. Star Fox has a job. I think Pikachu also has a job. Apparently, he's a chef, or can be a chef in Pokemon Cafe Mix, so there you go. Pretty easy. Luigi has a job. He's a plumber. He's on the wrecking crew. He does pretty much everything else he needs to do because he's Luigi. He definitely has a job. I was honestly surprised Ness didn't have a job. I honestly thought in that weird game he probably would have had one, but no, doesn't. Ness is just a boy, does not have a job. So, there you go. No job for Ness. I have not played F-Zero. Like, I played F-Zero 99, and I really do want to get into the GameCube one, but I haven't tried it yet. But, yeah. Captain Falcon does in fact have a paying job. He is a bounty hunter, does get paid for it, and F-Zero Racing, obviously, he gets paid out for it. So, yeah, Captain Falcon does get paid for a job or two. He gets paid for 2 jobs. That's pretty good. For the most part, every Pokemon, I just kind of looked up if you know, if they're a chef in Cafe Mix, and if not, I looked up if they have a paying job in any other else in the series, and if not, they don't have a job. Jigglypuff, from what I wrote, I either gave it a Y or a dash. If they don't, I wrote Y for Jigglypuff, so I don't know the gender, but it must be a chef in Cafe Mix. If not, he does something else. So yeah. So I didn't really count royalty too much, because like I kind of looked it up. If they don't really get paid for it, they just kind of are. So Princess Peach, like she has a job. She's the princess, but I didn't really count her. But I did write down Peach, no, but she had many in Showtime. She was like a chef. She was like an ice skater or whatever she did. I haven't played it yet, but she did not get paid for them. Therefore, she doesn't really have a job because those weren't really real. But she has honorably been mentioned to at least once tried a job. Sure, we'll go with that. Daisy's also kind of interesting, but I did write down, do more research on her, so I have her, did Daisy ever have a paying job? Google page up. I mean, she's royalty, of course. She mentioned that for her game. I think she was in Mario Land 1 or 2, whatever it was. She's also an event host in Mario Party 3. Okay, well, here we go. In the 1993 Mario Bros. Movie, she is the crew leader at a fossil dig site where she is kidnapped. So, I'm assuming she would get paid for that. I'm just now finding this out now. I didn't actually see this earlier. Alright. Do crew leaders on fossil dig sites get paid? Yeah, I would say they do. So, I guess since we're counting movies, Daisy does have a job. I've just found out about this now. I'm just as surprised as you are. I don't think Bowser has a job. I don't think he gets paid for what he does. We can go ahead and cut to the next one because I already know what the next one is. Ice climbers. Professional ice climbers get paid for what they do. Apparently, I found out about that today too. Sheik does not have a job. Neither does Zelda. I did my research. Prove me wrong, but I don't think they got paid for what they did. Now, I want you to take a wild guess what Dr. Mario's profession is. Since Dr. Mario is just Mario in a doctor outfit. Not only is he a plumber and part of the wrecking crew? But now he's a doctor. So even if he wasn't part of the wrecking crew, or a plumbing issue, or a plumbing thing, or whatever, Mario and Luigi would still count for this list because Dr. Mario's just Mario in a costume. So that was the easiest thing I've done all day, is find out what if Dr. Mario applies for this list. So I had a pretty easy day. Pichu was kind of weird to research. I wrote down yes, and I think what I remember is like he can become like a side assistant, or he can become a chef if you unlock more things. So I'm just gonna assume what I wrote down was correct. So yeah. Also, next is Falco. Falco does have a job. He works with Fox. Boom. Marth does not have a job. Marth is from Fire Emblem, I think, and I've never played it. But I don't think he ever got paid for a job. I did my research, but before you think, oh, he's never played this game, he doesn't know. I did my research, guys. I didn't just look at him assuming he doesn't have a job. He's just a hero of the story. He never got a job. I looked through things, okay? I actually looked and see, like, did he ever get a job in Final Fantasy, whatever? Like, if he ever got one, just real quick. And we'll get stuff later in this list that people do have jobs just for, like, 5 minutes. Then they get paid for it, technically. We'll get to that later. I'm excited to get to that one, because that's kind of ridiculous. But for now, Lucina also does not. That's the Echo Fighter. She does not have a job. I just happened to see that they're both on this page, the list I pulled up. So, yeah. Okay, Young Link is weird, because it's Young Link. Technically, it is Link, but Young Link has not had a job yet. Because, like, unless it's the same as Toon Link Link's probably just a different, I don't know what Toon, I've never played these, like, I've the only Zelda games I've ever played, like, I've barely played any of them. So, take that as you will. Like, Young Link technically has not had a job yet, but Young Link will grow up to have a job. I really don't know. Ganondorf the Terror, has not had a paying job. But again, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong because I don't know anything. I just know the Mario characters, guys. Come on. I found this pretty interesting. Mewtwo is not a chef in Cafe Mix. So, and I looked up. He doesn't have a job anywhere. Mewtwo just doesn't have a job, which is weird because Pichu has one. So, sorry, Mewtwo. Kind of too bad. Roy doesn't have a job. Pretty sure it's Fire Emblem. Moving on. For some reason, when I wrote down, I thought Crom had a job when I first wrote this down, and I looked at the list and he doesn't, so I don't know why that just came into my mind, but I thought I wrote down that Crom originally did. He doesn't. Oh my gosh, what doesn't Mr. Game & Watch do? Like, here, let me pull up a list of what he does. He is a juggler. That's not really a job, but, I mean, people could pay him if he's on the street. He's a firefighter, a chef, a zookeeper, a parachutist, sure, a city worker. He probably does so much more. Mr. Game & Watch might be just the king of jobs, because not only does he have one job, he has like 6 of them. So that's that's awesome. Meta Knight has a job. I'm pretty sure he gets like paid for what he does. Like he's hired by King DDD. I think he got hired by King DDD to trying to read here. I don't know. What I read earlier, I think he got hired by King DDD and got paid for it. So I think Meta Knight has a job. Pit doesn't have a job. I don't think he gets paid for what he does in Kid Icarus. Also, Dark Pit, I think he's part of like the forces of nature, and he does not have a job. So they're just kind of authorized to do that, I guess. I don't know. Okay, Zero Suit Samus is the Dr. Mario of this universe. Zero Suit Samus is just Samus. Samus has a job. Zero Suit Samus has a job. That would have sounded really cool if I didn't stutter. Wario has a job. He's a greedy CEO. He also designs games. That can pay out very good. Wario has a job. He's also very greedy. Snake's got a job. I'm pretty sure he's hired for whatever it is he does in his games. So, and he gets paid for it. Pretty sure he demands payment too. So, I wrote down Ike has a job. Let's see what that's about. Okay, he got paid as a mercenary. Google made my job easy for me. So Ike has a job. He's from Fire Emblem, but he has one. It's pretty cool. Um, I didn't actually write down the Pokemon trainer himself if he had a job, but we can look at Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. First of all, Squirtle. Squirtle probably a chef. I wrote down Y for him. Y means yes. Ivysaur. He's not a chef. Doesn't have a job at all. Charizard is a chef. Boom. Um, Kind of a weird thing that happened when I researched this. I looked up. These are my exact words. Did Diddy Kong ever have a paying job? I wrote Kong. I put in Kong. I'll give you two guesses who it brought up. Here, I'll give you one guess. If you guess Diddy Kong, you'd be wrong. I'll give you one other guess. Moving on. Diddy Kong doesn't have a job. Lucas is also a kid in Earthbound. He does not have a job. Neither do I, so it's okay. Unless there's some weird stuff going on where Sonic's doing this weird thing where he's getting paid for what he does. No, Sonic does not have a paying job. He just kind of does this for fun, I guess. I couldn't find anything where King Dedede has a job. I mean, he's the king, and I'm sure he gets I'm sure he's very wealthy, but we never see him with a job in game, so I can't really count him. I didn't have to research this one. Do you know what the plot of Pikmin is? This delivery worker gets crash lands on this alien planet. It is established from the beginning of the game that Olimar has a job, has a paying job. This guy is on the same level as Mario and Samus. That's incredible. So yes, Olimar does have a job. Lucario is a chef. He has a job. If you don't know who Rob is a physical toy that released in the NES days. The physical toy has an appearance in Mario Kart DS, and unless go-karting pays out, unless go-karting is an actual job in this game, he does not have a paying job. So Rob does not have a job. I don't know why he's in these games. I don't hate it. I really want to get my hands on Mario Kart DS. I also need to get my hands on the 3DS. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure Toon Link was in Spirit Tracks and he was the service assistant. So, maybe he got paid for it. I don't know. I wrote down yes because originally I thought it was the same person. But then my friend pointed out to me that no, they're not. So, thank you. So, I'm just going to assume he got paid for I'm sure he got some kind of compensation by doing that. So, he has a job. If not, so does Link. So. I think Wolf gets paid for what he does in the games. I've never seen him in a game, but what I found, he does get paid. I think he's hired to just stop Star Fox, so I think he got paid for that. Okay, this one's pretty interesting. Villager. The only thing I can find is in Animal Crossing New Leaf. You can do odd jobs for your neighbors, and they'll give you something for it. They might even give you money. I don't know. Sorry, I don't even know. But apparently you get something for it, which that counts. So I don't know how much we're going to cut. I don't really need to because I have a list and the actual, wiki of the characters pulled up here. So we're just going to keep going from here because I don't want to keep having to reach over. And let's just have a little conversation. Mega Man. So here, let's see what I did write down yes, so he had a job. He got hired for something. I know it was created. I found something where he said he has a job, so someone help me out there. But I'm positive that he got paid for something, but for some reason not telling me now. So okay then. Wii Fit Trainer. Her name is her job. That's her job. She gets paid for that. Rosalina, no job. I don't think she wouldn't. I don't like that. I mean, she has a job protecting the cosmos, but I don't think she gets paid for that. Little Mac, that's a boxer. Now, my plan was to make a joke and watch Rocky and say, well, I watched an entire movie about this to see if Little Mac was a boxer. I've seen the first 40 minutes of Rocky. My plan was to finish it, and then I wanted to get the video out because I need a video for Sunday. So I have not. I've seen like I've seen enough of Rocky to understand that they get paid. They get paid in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. So yeah, Little Mac has a job. Greninja, chef, me brawler, sword fighter, and gunner. Uh, grab a Wii series game. I'm sure they're working something. They definitely have jobs. I've seen them do that. Palutena is like a protector of sorts, kind of like a Rosalina. She does not have a paying job. Now here's the thing. I looked far and wide for Pac-Man because I remember something about him having a job. There's some speculation that from the beginning of Pac-Man World, he's coming home from his job. And everything I looked at said that that's not his job. He's just coming home from like a lunch or something. I looked up the obscure Pac-Man Pizza Parlor game. He doesn't get a paying job there. He's just an assistant there. Pac-Man does not have a job. Like, I mean, he's a ghost hunter. But everything I've seen, he doesn't get paid for that. So that's just, I really don't know. Robin doesn't have a job. I'm pretty sure he's from Fire Emblem or Xenoblade, whatever he's from. But it doesn't say what he's from on the wiki. Xenoblade, yeah, he doesn't have a job. Neither does Bowser Jr., I think. Yeah, Bowser Jr. does not have one. Duck Hunt, it's the dog. The dog does not get paid for that. Ryu. Ryu has a job. What does he do? I forgot. I mean, so we will get to. Do we get to Ken next? Okay, we'll talk about Ken too. Ken has a job. He runs like a hotel or whatever he does. I mean, Ryu does the tournament winnings. I guess he competes in martial arts. I kind of counted that. But I really just went down to, like, Ken doing all that. So, there you go. Cloud has a job. Okay. What's he from? Final Fantasy? Yeah, Google made it easier. He's a mercenary. He's a delivery boy. So, yeah, Cloud has a job. Thank you, Google. Corrin. Corrin does not have a job. Okay. Bayonetta. Now, here's my friend thought I was crazy. What could Bayonetta's job be? After all my research, her day job is being a nun. I've never played Bayonetta, neither is he. That was surprising. Never played Bayonetta, so finding out she's a nun is crazy. Inklings. Inklings have a bunch of jobs, There's the news reporters. They probably work in the shops. They hopefully get paid for that. Inklings have jobs. Ridley does not, I don't think. Yeah, Ridley does not have a job. I mean, it probably does. Stop Samus. But, yeah. Simon. Simon does not have a job, but Richter, in the Castlevania Netflix show, Richter wants to buy something, but he can't. So what does he do? He washes dishes for the money. Which means that Richter from Castlevania had a paying job for like 10 minutes. This is my favorite video I've ever done. Finding that out literally made me so happy because it's dumb stuff like this. And I could tell you all day that these Pokemon have jobs. But if that wasn't in there, I would have thought of scrapping the video altogether because that's just hilarious. It's stuff like this that makes these videos so fun to research. I would never have thought of that. That's insane. We're counting that. King K. Rool's apparently a boxer. We found out already that boxers get paid for what they do. If Isabel doesn't get paid, I am so sorry. But I wrote down yes for her, so hopefully she gets paid. I don't know. I don't think Incineroar's a chef. If so, he's a wrestler. They get paid for that. We're counting it. All right. DLC time. We're almost done. Piranha Plant. I don't even think those things have, like, apparently they're sentient, but I don't think they have brains. Joker has... I skipped him. Joker has a job. What does Joker do? Convenience store clerk. I've never played Persona. I've heard it's good. Hero. I looked far and wide for Hero. And what did I find? Okay, we're going to do some research. That's what I said. All right. Has the Dragon Quest hero ever had a paying job? Google told me yes, but I can't really find any evidence to back that up. A low-ranking royal guardsman. So I'm gonna put two and two together and assume he got paid for that, since Google's telling me that. So I'm sure the heroes in Dragon Quest they have had a paying job at least once. Banjo and Kazooie. No. First person I looked up. No. Terry Bogard. Yes. What did he do? I don't know. What game is he from? I really don't know. Terry Bogard. Yeah, he's done odd jobs. He's also been a basketball coach. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully he gets paid for that, because I know that's hard. Byleth. Yes. What did Byleth do? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about these guys. That's why I haven't bought the DLC, because I really don't care enough. Mercenary professor. Yeah, professor. That's the one that sold me. Okay, Min Min. I think Min Min does have a job. Yeah, she's the owner of the Noodle House. Yeah, that gets paid. Steve, another just great one to research, because if you're like me, like I wanted to look that up. Just maybe there's some obscure thing I don't know. How about not obscure? How about the third highest grossing movie of this year so far? I said we're counting movies, and I've made that rule before I wrote down Steve's name. I'm just going to count movies just for convenience sake. And I'm so glad I did, because we wouldn't have gotten Richter's story. Steve has a job at the beginning of the Minecraft movie. And I debated with my friends if that should be part of it. And for the sake of this being a simple YouTube video, heck yeah, that's going to count. Because why? Like, it's supposed to be funny, guys. I don't care if it's not canonical. He has a job selling doorknobs. That counts. Sephiroth. I think it said it did. Sephiroth. I spelled his name right. Yeah, he's a soldier. He has wartime duties. Propaganda. Okay, I'm not even going to try anymore. Pyra and Mithra. I think they co-own something. Mithra. Pyra and Mithra. What do Pyra and Mithra co-own? They co-own something. Run together. They do something. They do something. Business. Yes, they do. I know I'm not going crazy. Apparently they get paid for what they do in the game. Apparently they get paid to serve the blade of the protagonist Rex. We're counting it. That's probably not what I saw. I assume they did something together. Kazuya Tekken. Yes, he has a job. What is it? Let's see. He's a CEO. He's a CEO. And then finally, Sora. Sora does not have a job. But I'm sure Donald and Goofy has had many jobs over the years. So, with that, I have made my own video about this now. So, I definitely want to do more. Because this came across, I just randomly was done with my schoolwork. I had a test today, finished it, crushed it. And I thought, well, I have this idea. I have time. I opened up the notepad, started typing. So I definitely want to do more. I have my best ideas when I'm at school. So, yeah. Case closed. You have a job. 1, 2. I have no idea if you did or not. I don't even know who you are. So I'm not going to get involved in counting anymore. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.